that kind of accusation, that's a huge accusation of what? That the players are not working hard under him. Because if that happens, then the fans were like, oh my gosh, we thought Valverde was the issue. If you say that you guys were not working hard, you guys were actually down in tools, well, screw you guys. Trouble in paradise? Or is it paradise? The worst kept secret is there are internal issues within Barcelona. That's the worst kept secret. But before we even get there, let's just even deal with what we've been doing. So Eric Abidal, sporting director of Barcelona, former Barca player, he was speaking in a newspaper saying that, claiming or alleging that the players did not work hard enough. And by the players not working hard enough, that is why Valverde ended up being sacked, because, once you lose the dressing room, that is it, and his position was untenable. And now Messi, who normally doesn't do this, which is why this is actually very interesting, because, and we'll speak about this, so Messi now goes onto Instagram, his Instagram story, and says, look, man, if you're going to say players do not work hard, name those players. Who are those names? Name those names, because if you don't name those names, it gives rise to things that are alleged or not true and everything, and basically it paints the players in a very bad light. And Messi said, the players are responsible for what they're doing on the pitch. So Messi, as any captain should, protect the players. So, and many people are now saying that, it's like the whole thing, you cross Messi at Barcelona, you're pretty much out. And the thinking is Eric Abidal may be out, but there's an emergency meeting is happening. So obviously we'll keep things updated as they happen. First off, I think both Abidal and Messi are wrong here. Abidal is wrong in the sense of don't air out your dirty laundry. Don't do it. Don't do it. Even if you feel that was its issue, you shouldn't be talking to any external outlets about any kind of internal issues happening, and to talk to an external outlet and say, well, the players were not working hard enough for Valverde. That is still an allegation. That's not proof, because for Eric, you're not in there every single day, so you cannot make that proof. Now, I have my own assumptions, but we'll be there. Where your boy Messi is concerned, for Messi, I get that you want to defend your players, and I think once it's out there, you want to defend your players, but still, you have to hold the united front. And I felt that Messi, you should have had a private conversation with Abidal. You should have had a private conversation with Abidal, or made much more of a statement saying that, any kinds of reports that the players don't work hard enough under Valverde, it is true. The way that Messi put it gives rise to media outlets to say, oh, these guys are not united front. That the star player and the face of the club and the director are on complete opposite ends. But my thing here is that because Abidal said in that interview, look, it happened and it is what it is, but we have to talk about it. So Abidal said in that interview that he felt that players were not working hard enough under Valverde. And my thing here is this. I read body language. Now, is it a case that the players refused to work hard or they downed tools like Chelsea did with Mourinho? Not to that extent, not to that degree, but it's in the same ballpark. I believe it's in the same ballpark of how they decided, you know what, screw this. We're going our way. And I do feel that Valverde lost the dressing room. And I think that, the assumption, and we have to be very balanced here. The assumption is that, okay, Valverde, he lost the dressing room because of, he wasn't a very good manager. He didn't know how to manage the players, and he was a poor coach, and he didn't know how to get the best out of the players. If we want to try and be objective and balanced it, because I hate how stars are always protected, players are always protected, and we never have a balancing of like, okay, managers are at fault, but what about the players? And I just felt that there has to be some honesty there. Did the players really try under Valverde? Were they truly united under Valverde? Because look, we live in a new age world right now. And players use Twitter, the Instagram, they're on social media. And the social media narrative was Valverde is the bad guy. Ernesto was to blame for the Roma loss. Ernesto was to blame for the Valencia loss of Copa del Rey. Ernesto was to blame for the Anfield exodus. It was all Ernesto's fault. So if players are reading that, they're like, this guy is as good as gone. So for the players, like, look, even if we lose or take an L, it will all be on him. It will all be on him. And I think once that Anfield exodus happened, I think the players maybe have already seen the writing on the wall. So I think this is just, Barcelona don't need this. They don't need this because, again, you have your boy Cannibal Suarez who's out for the rest of the season. They didn't sign a striker this month. They're relying on the test tube baby to try and winning games for them. Messi, yet again, is going to have to do a lot more because Griezmann is trash. So it isn't a good look here. But that's the question that we have to ask ourselves because we'll never know. It is impossible for anyone to know whether the players down tools, whether the players don't work hard enough, because the only way that we'll know is if it did happen. If, that's the key thing, this is all alleged, if it did happen, is a player going to be brave enough to infer or say something? Or if, let's say, in the summer, a player leaves, are they going to say, yeah, man, there were a few guys that were like, screw this, we're not going to work under Ernesto. But so that's just the question here, because it is one thing when you're a bad manager and you're not getting the best out of the players, and the players are trying, they're trying hard, but your instructions just are not working well. But then it's another thing where the players they're not really feeding you and they're really working hard for you. And that is where you can still argue that as a manager, you have to still manage that situation and try to win the players over. But similar to the whole Ancelotti Bayern Munich situation, if the players, and especially a power group, a power core of a squad that said that, you're the wrong man, you're pretty much done. You will never, if players versus the manager, 9 times out of 10, the manager always loses. The only time that the manager wins is if you're someone like an Alex Ferguson, who holds so much sway and is so powerful. But he had to build up to many, many years of success before he reached that stage where he had that kind of power. But more times than not, the players have the power, especially if you're a Valverde who isn't coming with the same kind of stock as a Pep, Klopp, or Fergie or a Mourinho has. There's very much that you can do. And even for Mourinho, as powerful as it was, the players shoved him out. The players won that war between him and the players there. So, but I do think that that's just the point that I'm looking at here is Messi's response there. The fact that Messi went public with this. Because, for me, I think Eric Abidal was wrong. You shouldn't be having interviews or alleging these kinds of things, because again, it's like, that's kind of, because it is an accusation, that kind of accusation, that's a huge accusation as what the players are not working hard under him. Because if that happens, then the fans were like, oh my gosh, we thought Valverde was the issue. If you say that you guys were not working hard, you guys were actually down in tools, well, screw you guys. So that is a huge thing to infer. But I see, for Messi's response, it's twofold. Like, on one hand, you as a captain, you've got to protect your players. You have to protect the players. And as a captain, you live and die with these players. You see them every day, you train with them every day, and you're with the trench with them. So I think as a captain, you have to side more with your teammates than your manager. You simply have to. You can, as a captain, that's just how it works. You cannot side with your manager over your teammates because these are the guys that you ride or die with. But as much as you say that, as again, the way the media will receive this is that like these guys are not united. If he's actually if he can't actually go to Eric Abidal to his face and say, yo, what the hell is this? No. To actually have to say, okay, I'm actually going to go to Instagram and social media and say this, boom. But for me, this is what I believe now, right? Let's just go to the real core. There is an internal issue with Barcelona. And for me, I just believe this is the beginning of the end. And I think this started with that loss to Roma. I think that was the beginning of the decline. Obviously, you had the Copa del Rey loss, the Anfield exodus, but I think really the beginning of then was that Roma loss in the second leg, then everything else was just much more magnified and just illustrated to a much higher degrees. And I just think for Barca fans, I told you Empire was going to fall. Empire was going to fall. Now, I'm not saying that Barcelona are going to end up like an AC Milan. I'm not saying that they're going to end up like a flipping Manchester United right now. But what I'm saying is that, Barca fans have to be worried about the post-Messi era. You have to be worried about that and what a post-Messi era is going to look like. And I think that with all of these things, because now questions are going to be raised. Questions are going to be raised, and and that's what you don't want, especially when you're going, especially for Barcelona trying to defend their La Liga title, trying to win in Copa del Rey. I don't know, prepare for a match against Napoli. What you don't want is negativity to build. And for Kike Setien, that's why when Kike Setien, he even came out in the press and said, look, issues like this happen all over. And he just wants to concentrate on the football, but it's going to be very difficult because it's already out there. So even when they now go into training, that's going to be discussed. Are they going to go into training? That's going to be discussed. And there will even be a lot of Barca fans will be like, no man, we're signing with the players. But some Barca fans will now be like raising questions of like, could he be true? Could this not be true? And if Barcelona now lose again or lose badly and everything, then the narrative will now slowly shift from, oh my gosh, it was all Valverde's fault, to now, maybe the players just are not very good, or maybe the players are not really showing up a lot more. Maybe these players are not really up to snuff. So it's not a good thing to be put out there. But at the end of the day, the key thing is this: it's an allegation. It's an allegation. That's why I just think Eric was wrong to go out there, because you can't make an allegation to an external source. And that is bad form if you're a director. Any kind of issues you have, allegations, thoughts of players not working hard or playing badly, you talk to the captain, you have a meeting with the players, you have a meeting with the presidents. You don't go to an external source because you don't want to create a negative narrative in the media, because that can affect the psyche of the team going into matches. So it can be detrimental for Barcelona in their future games more. But look, man, all I'm saying is this, man, is that the future is worrisome for Barcelona. I'm going to drop a vid very soon. Explaining things a bit more. But the future is very worrisome for Barcelona right now. And I just think it is something that Barca fans have to be worried about, which is does Bartomeu have a long-term plan for this club? Because as we've seen with AC Milan and now with Manchester United, great clubs aren't great forever. And if you don't have a fail-safe plan, you can get hit real bad. Become a Football Hut member and gain access to cool emojis on the live streams and get access to new YouTube content by clicking the join button here. And to view that new content, head over to the YouTube channel homepage and click on the community tab over here.